Well, hello again for another online class. I hope all of you are well. Before we begin, little boys and girls, I have to give this disclaimer notice. So just hang on tight and then we'll begin with what we need to look at. Aviso de privacidad. A partir de este momento, iniciamos la grabación de la sesión de clases en Zoom. El uso de este video será única y exclusivamente para fines académicos. Ninguna persona puede usar las imágenes, audio o información que aquí se comparten con fines ajenos a la clase. Los derechos son propiedad del Instituto Oriente AC. Este espacio se rige bajo las normas del Manual de Convivencia del Colegio. Okay, having said that, let's begin and get right into the class. For this week and for the week after that, okay, we're going to take a look at Unit 9. First, today, we're going to look at the vocabulary. Now, the vocabulary for this unit is not very complicated, okay? We have vocabulary for school trips, okay? School trips, field trips. And we're going to start with this first school trip destination, museum. Okay, that's what we have on the screen, museum. Okay, we have a lot of museums here in Puebla. They are places where you can see old objects, okay, and sometimes works of art, typically old works of art, okay, but it's basically a place where you have a lot of old objects, a lot of antiques, okay, it's where these things are preserved. After that, we have a dairy farm. Okay, remember that dairy is a word that refers to milk. Everything that's made from milk is dairy. For example, milk, well, milk is a dairy product. Cheese is a dairy product. Cream is a dairy product. Butter is a dairy product. Yogurt is a dairy product. Okay, yogurt, cheese, cream, milk, butter. Okay, that's what dairy refers to. So when we say dairy farm, we're talking about a farm dedicated to the production of milk, where they have cows, okay, and they milk the cows every day and then sell the milk to make dairy products. Okay, that's a dairy farm, a farm of cows, a farm with a lot of cows on its land. Art gallery. An art gallery, okay, is very similar to a museum, but it's dedicated exclusively to art. Okay, paintings, maybe sculptures, okay, and other works of art. Okay, we're talking about the fine arts. Okay, these art galleries are typically involved in the demonstration of paintings. Okay, so that's why we see here in the image a boy looking at paintings. A lot of paintings and maybe other works of art. National park. Okay, a national park is very different from a regular park. A national park is a wildlife preserve. A wildlife preserve, okay? It's a very big plot of land, okay? Where nobody may build houses or any other kind of building, okay? It's protected exclusively for the preservation of the natural resources, and that includes the animals and the plants. Theater. Okay, here we're not talking about movie theater. The movie theater is a cinema, right? Like Cinepolis. But no. In this case, we're talking about a regular theater, a place with a lot of seats, okay, with a stage, and it's a place where people go to see plays, okay? Let me write that down. they go to see plays. A play is, for example, Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a play. Well, Shakespeare wrote a lot of plays. Okay, we have Romeo and Juliet. That's a play. Zoo. Zoo is a place with a ton of animals. Okay, some zoos are dedicated to the preservation of exotic animals, sorry, but most of them just do it to have some sort of entertainment for people. Okay, here in Puebla, we have obviously the very big and famous African safari. Okay, and in this place, we can see a lot of people feeding or touching giraffes. In some zoos, you can do this. In other zoos, you can't touch the animals. Concert hall. A concert hall is a place where we go to hear or to see, watch, be present, attend, a lot of verbs, attend a concert, but it's typically not a rock concert or a pop concert or any kind of modern concert. No, this is typically, I say typically, for things related more to the fine arts. For example, for classical music, concerts, or maybe operas. Okay, maybe. All right, that's a concert hall. Again, we have a lot of seats, a lot of people. We have a stage, just as we do in a theater. Okay, but this place is built with specific acoustics. Okay, so that the sound will be heard perfectly in every corner inside the building. The next word that we have for our vocabulary is aquarium. Okay, an aquarium, one of my favorite places, is much like a zoo. It has animals, okay, a lot of fish and fish-like animals, a lot of marine animals, okay? Remember that term, marine animals. They have sharks, they have stingrays. Many of these places have dolphins, and you can play with the dolphins at an aquarium. In most places, okay, most places have some sort of interaction of the dolphins with the public. That's the vocabulary that we have. Now, let's put this vocabulary into practice, okay? That way we can remember it better later when we want to remember it, okay? So we have here, listen, look, and say. For the first image, we have
museum.
Museum. Okay, one more time.
Museum.
Museum.
Dairy farm.
Dairy farm.
Dairy farm.
Dairy farm. Remember to repeat. When we hear the word said, when I play the word, repeat with me. Okay, let's practice. Let's do some speaking practice, okay? Next image.
Art gallery.
Art gallery.
Art gallery.
Art gallery.
National park.
National park.
National park.
National park.
Theater.
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 Zoo.
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 Concert hall.
Concert hall.
Concert hall.
Concert hall.
aquarium,
Aquarium.
aquarium,
Aquarium. Boys and girls, I need you to notice something about the words that we have in our vocabulary set, okay? And it's the different pronunciation of some letters. For example, in museum, okay, we start here saying new. That's not very different from saying you, okay, the regular pronunciation for the vowel. The problem is here. We're going to finish by saying museum, museum. In the next word, we have dairy, okay, dairy. Pay attention to the pronunciation, dairy, okay? It's not going to be diary, no, it's going to be dairy. That I is hardly pronounced. We practically don't pronounce the I, dairy. And the fourth vocabulary word, we have national. It's pronounced all, national, okay? I don't want anybody saying national. No, it's national. And the next one, we have fee, okay? It's fee. The pronunciation is very, very similar, especially the first two letters of the letter 3. But in this case, we don't have the R. We're only going to say fee. C. Okay? For the word zoo, okay, the pronunciation of that Z has vibration. Vibrate your mouth, vibrate your tongue and your throat. Zoo, zoo. Kind of like a bee, zoo. In concert hall, the problem with the pronunciation of it is hall. Okay, it's not hal, it's not hell, it's not hail, it's hall, hall, all, like an O, hall, concert hall. Then we have aquarium, aquarium. All of this word needs special attention, okay? Aquarium, especially the last part, aquarium, okay? Remember the correct pronunciation of these words: museum, dairy, art gallery, national park, theater, zoo, concert hall, aquarium. All right, let's look at some other exercises to keep practicing with this very fun vocabulary related to school trips. We're going to listen to the pronunciation of these words and match them to the correct picture, okay? Or sorry, not the correct picture. We're going to, match them to the correct picture. We're going to look at the image and match them to the correct spelling, sorry, to the name of the place, okay? So for number 1, we see a cow, okay? Remember that we said that anything related to the product of a cow is called dairy, okay? Anything that comes from the product of a cow, that means from the milk, is called dairy. Dairy, okay? That's why for number 1, we have letter B. Dairy. In number 2, okay, we have a portrait that's hanging apparently on a wall, on a white wall, okay, but it's a wall nonetheless. It's hanging on a wall, okay, and this painting is of landscape. So we have a painting. A painting belongs to art. And we look at art in an art gallery. That's why number 2 is letter C. No. There we go. And then for the last one, okay, we see behind a glass, okay, we see animals, marine animals, okay, swimming around in what seems to be a tank. So this happens only at an aquarium. Or maybe at a zoo, but then in that case, that part of the zoo would be called an aquarium. Okay, for the next set of words, in number one, we have a giraffe reaching for some leaves from the top of a tree. Okay, you know that these giraffes can eat from tall trees, and that long neck helps them to do just that. Well, we see these kinds of animals. All right, maybe if they're eating from a tall tree, they could be in the wild. Okay, they could be in the wild, or maybe they could be in a zoo. It all depends on the bigger picture, literally. In this case, I think it's not in the wild. Okay, I think it's in a zoo. So we're going to put it there. You can see a giraffe in the wild in a national park in Africa. Okay, that's where you can see giraffes in a national park. But in this case, I think we're still talking about Mexico and the American continent. So the only place we can see giraffes is in a zoo. Number two, we have a dinosaur. Okay, those extinct creatures, all right, they are typically viewed only in an indoor building that has a lot of old objects, okay, for show. That means a museum. We see old objects in a museum, okay, in this case, dinosaurs, or maybe the remains of the dinosaurs, fossils, that is. We see fossils at a museum. And finally, we have this landscape, okay, we have rocks and some mountains. They appear to be covered in ice in a national park. Now, remember that a national park is not only with mountains and trees and some grass. In Africa, we have national parks, or there are national parks that are in a desert, or maybe in the savannah, in the jungle. Okay, they could be in the mountains. All right, but a national park is a territory of land, okay, that is protected for the preservation of animals and plants. Remember that, for the preservation of animals and plants. Okay, let's move on to the next exercise. We have a guessing exercise, okay, where we're going to describe the place and we have to guess what the place is. So let's start. We have here a little boy who is describing a place, and he wants us to decide what the place he is describing. To decide what the place he is describing is, okay? Well, let's start. The boy says, it has a lot of cows. You can milk a cow there. It's in the countryside. Okay, remember the countryside. The countryside is all the urban area. Okay, that's what that is. The countryside is all the urban area. Let me write that down for you. I'm sorry, not the urban area. Sorry, that's the opposite. The rural area. Everything that's rural is country, technically. The rural area, where you're not talking about a town or a city, okay, much less a metropolis. No, you're talking about a rural area, okay, the countryside. Remember, cows give milk, and milk is considered dairy. So we're talking about a dairy farm. We're talking about the dairy farm. It has a lot of cows. You can milk a cow there. It's in the countryside. Which place is it? A dairy farm. Next description, the boy says it has a lot of flowers and trees. You can walk there. It's outdoors. Okay, another bit of vocabulary. Remember that outdoors is a place that is not inside a house. Okay, that's what that is. When you say that something is outdoors, you are saying that it's a place that is not inside a house or building. That's what it means to say outdoors. Okay, which place is it? With flowers, trees, you can walk, it's outdoors. What are we talking about? Okay, I believe we're talking about, in this case, a national park. Okay, we're talking about a national park. A national park. Let's see. For the next description reads, it has a lot of different animals. You can look at them and take pictures of them. It's outdoors with some sections indoors. Okay, so we have a combination. Outside a house, inside a house. We have a combination. Which place is it? All right, with different animals, a lot of different animals. Only two places are going to have different animals. Okay, we can have either a zoo or an aquarium. All right, so we need a little bit more information to make a decision. But in this case, let me tell you, we're talking about a zoo. Okay, we're talking about a zoo. And I say this because we don't have a specification about marine animals. We're talking about just animals in general. And we have outdoor sections and indoor sections. And remember that an aquarium is typically indoors. I mean, where the public walk anyway. Next description reads, it has a lot of old objects. Oh, my mistake, sorry. Okay, there we go. It has a lot of old objects. You can take photos of some objects there. It's indoors. Which place is it? Okay, you have old objects. We're talking about inside a house or inside a building. Okay, remember, if it's the opposite of outdoors, well, it has to be inside a house or a building. Okay, that's what that is. So we're talking about old objects. You can walk around, take pictures of some of these objects, or you can just admire the old objects. We're talking about a museum. Okay, that's what that is. It's a museum. All right, next up. It has a lot of fish and other marine animals. You can play with dolphins there. Which place is it? Okay, now that we're talking about dolphins and marine animals, now we can say that we are talking about an aquarium. Okay, now we're talking about an aquarium. Next one up reads, it has a stage and a lot of seats. You can listen to people sing and play music there. It's indoors. Which place is it? Remember, music, indoors, on a stage. Okay, we're talking about a concert hall. Not a concert hall for modern music, mind you, no. It's for typically classical music or opera or other things of that sort, more related to the fine arts. Okay, next one. Next description that the boy has for us. It has a lot of paintings. Sorry about that. Okay, it has a lot of paintings. You can see many works of art there. It's inside a building. Which place is it? Okay, so if you can see many works of art in this place and it's inside a building, remember art, well, I think that's pretty easy to connect. Okay, we're talking about art. So we're going to say that the place is an art gallery. Okay, that's pretty simple. Art gallery. Finally, we have, it has a lot of flowers and trees. You can walk there. It's outdoors. Which place is it? Okay, I believe we're talking about the national park. Again, all right, just in case you were not paying attention. All right, we got the national park right there. Okay, with this, we conclude, okay, the practice for our vocabulary. Remember to watch the video as many times as you need to. Do the homework that you have on the Servo Escolar platform, and do the homework that you have on the Pearson platform. Okay, it's also important. It's good practice, and remember that practice makes perfect. So I'll see you on Friday for our tutoring session. If you have any questions about this video or the exercises that you have in your homework, please make those questions to me in our session. That's all for now. I'll see you then. Have a nice week. Bye-bye.